Hey everyone, you right, Andy?
I'm all right, Si. How are you, my man?
Very good, very good. We just had a long weekend away to an active volcano, but apart from the footy being on, there's a lot more going on off the pitch this week, isn't there?
Hell yeah. Can we please talk about it?
Sounds good to me. So the news in everybody's eye at the moment is Arne Slot and Mo Salah. Where do you stand on this situation?
Do you know what? Like, it's such a. Like, I kind of think Salah's every right to be aggrieved at the fact that he's not starting. That's what makes him so elite minded, is this, like he's the man and he has to think of himself as the man. But I think he's gone about it so bad, and I actually think he's not. Like, the frustrating thing is that he's said nothing throughout this whole
Yeah.
thing, and this whole thing of being a leader and being, like, I would have wanted him, and I know that's a big thing with Carragher, saying, "Oh, where's Mo Salah?" But like, the fact that yeah, I've seen Van Dijk, I've seen Robertson, I've
Mm,
seen Jones, all give pretty passionate, like, rallying cries to
speeches,
Liverpool fans, and to make an effort. They don't want to talk to anyone, but they're putting themselves out there, Szoboszlai as well, just to, try and get the fans to not, just to try and make them feel better or something. Whereas
on
Salah
side.
hasn't, and it seems like he only comes out when he has something to do with him. And I feel like he just kind of made this crisis into a circus and made it all about, him. And I think
Mm.
that I just don't think it was the time for it. I mean, you can be aggrieved and go and talk to the management and talk to whoever, but he tends to use the media. Like, he did this with the contract
Yeah,
stuff last year, where it was, well, as far as I'm concerned, this is my last game, so it's
his
not up
own
to me, it's up to
narrative
the
for his
club,
own benefit.
and then
Yeah.
the club catch up, and they're like, okay. So I don't know if that's going to happen this time, but I was actually just really disappointed with it, to be honest. And I've seen a lot of people whose takes I would value, say kind of like, what, I actually see Mo Salah's side. So, like, there's a huge divide, which is the part of the problem as well. It's caused this: are you a team Slot or are you a team Salah? And it's just such a, I don't know. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this yourself? Like,
Yeah,
what do
no, so it's
you
very
do? You,
interesting,
do
very
you do you
interesting.
take sides? Do you?
I think there's a lot of unexpected outcomes here. So for me, it wasn't out of character for Mo Salah. And I liked Salah, the player, and what he offered, and when the team was built around him, obviously scoring amazing goals and highlight reel galores and records and all this. But he's got precedence here, right? So last season, the two out of contract superstars, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, it's absolutely eye opening how differently they handle this contract talk,
Yeah.
right? Salah's like putting pressure and pressure when he's on top of the mountain, when he's a Ballon d'Or contender, when he's breaking the records. He's like, it might be my last game for Liverpool, right? Nothing heard about contract. We can't come to terms. I don't know if they value me enough, etc. We'll see what happens. Whereas Virgil
Yeah.
van Dijk's like, we got a title to win here. What happens, happens. Let's be respectful. Things happen behind closed doors. Liverpool be on anything before everything. So you
Yeah.
get the vibe that Van Dijk really just wanted to win the title and do things the right way. Where Salah was like trying to push the bucket. And I did say back then, way back when he's on top of the world, when he can command the highest fee, the highest value, and he can exert maximum pressure to secure this contract, that was when Salah came out with his talk. So no, it's just
Mm,
reflective of him. He is in his self-interest. Great, because his self-interest, if he scores and he wins games for Liverpool, then everyone's happy. But
that's it.
definitely numero uno. And the things with, as soon as he's benched, Instagram and social media accounts deletions, he's come out after a free draw. Would he have come out if it was, if Liverpool didn't chuck away points as well?
Well,
And
that's the
yeah,
thing. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like, is this a deliberate ploy to get the fans to be Slot or Salah? Like, he knows that, like, Slot's goodwill is, like, teetering, and now, like, I don't think he would have come out with this if Liverpool had a won. And, like, obviously it's timed, like, to perfection, where it's like we're just after another disappointing last minute disappointing result, and he knows he's going to AFCON. But this, like, I just hate this. Like, maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but I hate this idea that, like, after everything I've done for the club,
Mm.
like I just don't think that guarantees you to start. And I've seen a lot of ex-pros saying like, I think he's actually got a point. He's been treated not great. And like, I don't see
I don't see it. No.
where
Yeah.
the mistreatment is coming from. Like and I was saying on my own video, the only thing, like Arne Slot would have an airtight case if it wasn't for the fact that Gakpo is playing so shite as well. Do you know what I mean? Like if Gakpo was playing amazing, Salah couldn't say a thing. It was like you were even saying last week. They don't really play. Like I don't think it's the right move to play them together. So it's either kind of one or the other. And to be fair, when Salah replaced Gakpo last week, he actually played better. So I can see why he's annoyed about it. But the only thing is that Gakpo has been stinking up the place as well. So
Indeed, and
that's the only thing.
exactly. And this is why I think there is a huge misunderstanding of the situation, like globally, in terms of the media, especially, right? Salah, in my opinion, he played totally the wrong cards here. He has he may have been the only cards that he could play, and his frustration boiled over. But I'll explain why I think he's absolutely played everything the worst possible way. Now, his intention is to become a starter for Liverpool, get in the starting lineup, play for Liverpool regardless of form, and he wants to do it not on merit, on his past performances, right? The number one way to guarantee the person who picks the starting lineup isn't going to pick you for the starting lineup is to offend the person who picks the starting lineup, and he's gone right for start, right? So that's numero uno. And the people who said that he wanted to be healthy for the AFCON, he's absolutely shown absolute disregard for saving himself for the AFCON, because he's said that he wants to be playing and he's miffed that he's not playing. And then secondly, again, he's saying that the tactics don't fit him and he's not earning the respect. So once again, the people who are going to give him the ball to let him break all the records, he's saying that it doesn't matter how well you train or how well you perform, I've earned my place and you're going to have to fight for other places. Imagine Semenyo or anyone else comes in, he goes, Salah, I'm Salah and I've earned my place. You're going to do with 10 minutes off the bench or you're replacing Gakpo. I've earned my place. So literally, he has absolutely shot himself in the foot against every single person that helps him to get what he wants, which is to start week in, week out for Liverpool and break records. So there's nothing in this conversation or his outburst that helps his cause, because it's not going to help him to start, because he's gone against the person who's going to choose who starts.
Exactly. So he's gone against Slot now, where Slot has to think, okay, I have a big, like, I can't back down now, or whatever. And like chances are Slot would have played him against Inter. Do you know what I mean? But it's like there's a few things. So one, it's the whole after everything I've done, and yes, he's done everything. He's been, and which is why he's so beloved. But this whole thing of like the club made promises. And you have a start in 3 games, so they're not keeping them. Like, what were the promises? Did they promise you that you were going to start every game, regardless of whether your form fell off a cliff? And then also, like, it's kind of in the week that he's not been playing, it's not like it's been a straight swap, like someone has come in and swapped out. It's been a change of the system, and it's catering more to Wirtz, and it's kind of the formation was a little bit different, and so it's not like it was like that position was a little bit redundant this week. Do you know what I mean? Like his textbook, 3 up top and all this, where they kind of swapped it up a bit. So but the whole thing of I don't need to fight for my place every week. It's like you do, and I want you to think that you do as well. I don't want you to think that like, well, I'm Mo Salah, so I'm in. That's not how it works, and it bums me out that he, like, I know he has an ego. We all know that, and that's part of what makes him great. But I don't want you to be thinking that you've just earned the right. Like it's at the end of the day, you're a football player for Liverpool Football Club. And whether you agree with the manager's decision or not, like, it's only been 8 days, to be fair. It's not like he's been, he's training with the reserves. I don't know what happened. I have no relationship with the manager now. It's been 4 months in the wilderness. Like, it's been 8 days. And, he featured in 1 or 2 of those games. So I just, like, what I don't understand as well is why is he going to Norwegian TV? Like, you know what I mean? I don't, like, rather than Sky Sport, like,
Maybe that's who grabbed him. It's the mixed media zone. It's the mixed media zone, so they can just step out there. He had something to say, right? And the worst thing for him, as I mentioned, right, he shot himself in the foot in many occasions, is the fact that he has not played well this season. The system is not designed for him. He's not outstanding in this system. He's not put it on a platter or evolved to help the team out. He's still about himself, right? If he had performed well and he got dropped, he had the right to be aggrieved. But he can't demand to be played into form when Liverpool and Arne Slot is under battering. And I said it in my video as well, right? Only Arne Slot's job is under threat when things, when shit hits the fan. Only the manager can be fired. So he needs to do self-preservation and help himself with what he believes in. Salah cannot be fired. You can't even get rid of him if you wanted to because he's got a contract. Saudi Arabia could never make a bid. They can make a slow bid that wouldn't be accepted. He could, reject terms or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's been playing bad. He hasn't been carried. And in fact, people who say, right, oh, but you look at the results with Salah on the bench. We've had just as good, if not a better attack. Hugo Ekitike, Wirtz, and Isak have come alive in certain games and certain times in this period. And defensively, we've been okay, more solid on the right-hand side for individual mistakes, mainly by Konate and Van Dijk and whoever. And that's nothing to do with offense because he wouldn't have contributed defensively anyway. So he's just got no ammunition to throw a strop apart from his ego and pride being hurt. And I just feel as though, right, he's now accelerated the end game here, which I love.
Yeah.
I love the chaos and drama. I want to see who fights. Give it all you got. Show your guts and your vitriol, your passion.
That's it. There is part of me where it's like, what are you doing? And then there's another part of me that's like, this is very entertaining.
It's intriguing, isn't it? Yeah.
But the thing about it is that, like, it's not even if Liverpool were flying and he's just getting left out, that's another thing. But like we're clearly in an absolute crisis at the minute and we're trying different things. Like, can't you, as if you love Liverpool as much as you say you love Liverpool, to just accept that there's going to be some things that you're not ultimately personally happy with, but it might benefit the team that you love so much. Like, it's not like it's a like Liverpool high flying and we've all forgotten about Mo Salah. Like, we all know that, Salah is Salah, and I probably would have started him ahead of Gakpo against Leeds, but we're all going through it. So, like, that's why I feel like the timing is even worse, because it's like we're right in the, we're just morale would have been at an all-time low after that Leeds equalizer, and it was for me. In terms of disappointing results this season, that one was like, that my head just dropped. Right, it's like,
a hammer blow.
God, it was such a hammer blow, and then he comes out and just torches the whole thing. So,
what's your take? What's your take on 4D kind of chess, the bigger picture, right? What if this is a masterclass, right?
Oh, please.
Salah saving Arne Slot, right? You know why? Because Arne Slot has been under increasing pressure. His job is on the line. He's tactically unaware. He's driving the players into the ground. The new signings haven't worked, right? Liverpool being targeted. What if this is a ploy to save the king and take the attention away, the Mourinho-esque masterclass? Because now Salah has put all the attention on his shoulders. He's away at the AFCON. There's nothing you can do in the interim. January window coming up. Now, Arne Slot has a reprieve. What if Salah was the mole in the camp all along? What if Salah unbalanced the side? What if Salah was about Salah before Liverpool? All the attention, all the negativity around Mo Salah. What if people are now taking the pressure for Arne Slot? Oh, this is what he's had to deal with behind the scenes. Was it contract? Was it verbal agreement for the minutes, right? Salah is now the pantomime villain, which means significant pressure, and out of nowhere, support has come to Arne Slot's shoulder saying, you can't cross the boss. It's Liverpool club before player, right? Arne Slot finally has a reprieve away from the bad results, because now the headlines and the focus is all on one Mohamed Salah.
Well, that's it, yeah. And it's, if anything, this has given Slot a little bit of goodwill with a certain amount of fans, because the majority, I'd say more than 50% of the fans that I've seen online, and it's online, so, take of that what you will, but wanted Slot out. So I think a lot of people are jumping on this as like, they want to Slot out anyway. So it's like, I sided Mo Salah. But I think it's given a lot of other people have been like, well, in principle, no, you can't do that, and the manager should be allowed to do this. And but I'm interested now, when you say 4D chess, do you think Arne is playing 4D chess, or Salah's playing 4D chess, or they're all just playing 4D chess? Like, you know what I mean?
Could it be behind the scenes? Could it be like a scheme where it's manufactured that Salah gets his Saudi Arabia move, Saudi Arabia bail us out of this massive contract, right? And on the back of it, right, Salah has given Slot one last stand, an opportunity to make amends in the backdrop of him throwing this massive spurt out there.
Yeah.
It is a ploy to get the season back on track, to get the evolution transition of Liverpool back on track, a way to mask the bad form, the bad tactical decisions, everything, for a Salah who has a move engineered for January to take
Yeah.
the burden and the stress and the bad kind of feelings away from the manager onto his shoulders. It's an absolute stretch. It's an absolute farce.
It would
My
be an
goodness,
absolute
that'd be entertaining.
masterstroke
Yes.
like I would be very impressed if it was if it was planned that way. But my question to you then is, how would you feel if Salah left in January, say, and went to Saudi or went somewhere else? How would you
I
feel
would
if
take it.
that?
I would
Yeah.
take it. Like from a managerial hat, from a director of football hat, from ability to restructure the team and recruit, and not have not the ego, but the presence and the burden. Because Szoboszlai can be a game winner, but so often he passes the buck with a simple layoff to Salah in a wide position where he
Thank
can't
you.
do anything right.
That
Yeah,
drives me
I
crazy.
I would love it. I would absolutely love, even for a reduced fee, to get the wages off the book, to allow you to bring in the pace and rejuvenate like a Semenyo, and get a defensive midfielder in, and get a centre back in, and
Yeah.
without the pressures. You need to evolve. No matter how much you love him, no matter how much he's done, you need to evolve. And the reason why this kind of eureka moment came to me is I'm watching this anime called Vinland Saga, right? And there's this kind of scrawny little pathetic king, and his loyal guard, his aide, right, slaughters the old king. The spoilers, I apologize in advance, but he slaughters the old king and then
So
pretends to go
God,
insane.
Jesus.
Exactly. He pretends to go insane to present this moment that this new cowardly king can, do him through the heart and look like a true warrior. So it's like sacrificing yourself for the new generation,
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, like, but yeah, I have to say, I mean, that's a very good analogy as well, and I'll tell you what, anime is something that I'm really trying to get in. Now that we have this show, I have to talk to you off mic about how I can find my way, because I've tried to go in a few times and I'm like, oh, this is brilliant, and then I'll try something else. I'm like, that is not for me. So it's very hot and cold. So I need your advice on that. But yeah, with this, I mean, if he was to go in January, which he's implying, because he's like all he says is like, I've told my mother, come to Brighton. That's all I'll say. Come to Brighton. Whether I play or not, let's just say come to Brighton.
Exactly.
So he's intimating that that's going to be his last game. And he's obviously re-signed a deal recently. I mean, how mental to think that after we won the league, that by January he could be gone. But if he did go, we'd get a fee for him. And I do think, like, obviously there's pros and cons. Like, I wouldn't just be straight away like, get rid of him. But if he's going to act like this when not in the team, I think that's too much of a disturbance and a distraction. Yeah. And I think he, if he can be humble and be part of the team, and like he said himself at the start of the season, help the other players to come up and be a presence. Like, that was one of the big reasons why I was so happy that he re-signed the 2-year deal with Van Dijk. I'm like, I want his leadership and his presence and his mentality to be like the benchmark of the dressing room, and I want people to rise to that. But I don't want, like, now it's become this big, like, he's just got too much power, or I don't know what. And I don't know if it's because him and Szoboszlai are coffee buddies, but I have also noticed how Szoboszlai always just looks for the pass to Salah, like when there's so much more on, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, that's just a small pet peeve.
That's my biggest criticism of Szoboszlai
I was happy that you brought that up.
He's such a game winner. He's impressive. He can do it all, but he just passes the buck, and he shouldn't do.
Yeah,
it's
like you could tell, like, he's got a slightly more difficult, maybe, like, lob pass into the box or a through pass, but it's always just a little, oh, there you are, Mo. Okay, there you go. 5 yards out. There you go. And you do something. And I was like, no, Sabo, you do it. But yeah, so, like, I mean, it sounds harsh to say that if he goes in Jan, we wouldn't mind it, but genuinely, if with the way the team is evolving, and, like, I think it'd be a real shame. I would prefer it if he stayed and just kind of copped on a little bit. But if he does go, then yeah, I think I would kind of be equally like, okay, I wouldn't be like, no, Mo,
That's because
because
you're a nice lad, Andy. That's because you care about the feelings. That's because you are lovely, to our legends. And that's what I like about you as well.
I'll
But
take
I
it.
am ruthless. I am
Yeah.
absolutely. When opportunity is there, you strike when iron's hot, because opportunity never comes around again, right? So my
Mm,
feeling of them resigning, right? I was always tentative about Van Dijk and Salah signing, but
right.
my justification why I think it was the right thing to do, right? You've won the Premier League. They're on form. They've shown they can still perform. But in a transition year, when you sign the superstars, Wirtz, Isak, they might have even helped in the negotiation process. Playing with Mo Salah was last hurrah. Playing with Van Dijk was last hurrah, right?
Mm,
To get the players in, I think you re-sign them because the opportunity cost of them being able to hand over the leadership and help the players settle and iconic to the new
yeah.
breed. You keep them as long as they're useful to get the players to settle. But once they have done their part in being useful, you must be prepared to not discard them, but say, thank you for everything you've done. We now move to the next stage. If you
Yeah.
delay it too long, your chance to move to the next stage gets delayed or hindered massively, right? Of which we've seen this
Yeah.
season. Salah's performances, for me, won't merit him continuing before onwards with January, because first, the tactics don't suit him. The relationship with the manager is
Yeah.
broken down. And even if he gets in the team, it's going to be more of the same unless the team is built around him, and the team shouldn't be built around him. So
No.
the opportunity is there. I would get rid of him. Harsh words. I would let him move on if he agrees to it, because the wages are there. You can get in cement, you
Yeah.
can get in new blood. This whole kerfuffle's happened already, and then you move on with everyone's best will and graces, and you can remember how good and how much of a legend and how much he helped us win.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
That's the thing. Like, it'd be every single person wants for it to end on good terms. Do you know what I mean? The majority. Um, so like I would much rather, if it is the end, that they can, whether he doesn't have much of a personal relationship with Arne Slot, but then equally towards the end of Klopp's career, he didn't have much of a personal relationship with him either. Do you know what I mean? They had the big spat on the sideline. Was it West Ham or something like that?
Yeah.
I know that was just an isolated incident, but even when I
Mane.
got the impression when like Klopp was leaving, everyone was like, Jurgen, thanks so much. And Salah was all about like, thanks for all the trophies. And then a post right away afterwards, just so everyone knows that all that matters is trophies. And to be fair, he put in an all-timer season after that. It was an incredibly cold response in a good way. But, so like, so he kind of had that with Klopp as well, where it was like, if you don't, like, he'll be your best buddy and Mr. Smiley and, like, oh, Mr. Like, if he misses a chance, he's like, oh, all smiles. Whereas, but that's great if he's doing good and he's been looked after. Do you know what I mean?
He's driven. He's absolutely driven about success. And, but when he's performing to that level, you build a team around a person, an individual, a superstar who performs that level, and you've got aligned interests in winning the league. So by building around him, you get reflected success, right? And this is why it's interesting. The media always picks up when Zeljko Buvac, right, the brain, Jurgen Klopp's assistant manager, left. Oh my God, he was everything. Klopp is nothing, right? He's the tactical manager. Bullshit. And same as Heitinger. When Heitinger left, right? Oh my God, Heitinger was friends and mates with all the people. Who is Giovanni Rambronco? Slot doesn't have a clue. That's absolute bullshit as well, right? Because they've all flopped when we've left. Like Steve Clark away from Steven Gerrard, all this kind of thing. But people are looking at the individuals who affect things and how things change. But sometimes you just got to admit, you get the tactics wrong. The opposition are better than you. You're in a bad streak of form or whatever. It made sense to build around Mo Salah at the time. Mo Salah, the player and the person, give him what he wants because he's delivering. But now that he's not delivering, you don't need to put up with it anymore, right? You've got to do what's in the best interest for Liverpool. So
that's it. And we have players now who are clearly more the future, and it would be nice if Salah could usher them in rather than it's like that's the part that kind of made me feel a bit like, oh, like it was a little bit of like, don't you know who I was? Where you're like,
he's not within himself to do that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't want you to be like that. I want you to be like, like I seen Curtis Jones, like, I have to look at myself as well, and so, like, I want him to be more like that. And maybe like he's gotten to where he is because he's not like that.
It's not him.
But
it's just not him.
No,
is it? Mane,
where it's like he's either, he's either the man or you've got a problem. and I just think like, oh. But my other question to you is, if let's say, and I'm hearing reports that the board is backing Slot in this, and this outburst will have no bearing on their take, but he's still kind of hanging by a thread. And honestly, part of me thinks up until this moment, this could be ironically, a little bit of a spark that, like, something happens, with the team. But if it's a case that Slot loses a few more and goes, like, how would you feel about that? How would you feel if, like, he goes in January 1st or something like that?
I like Slot as a tactical manager when he proved in the first season winning the Premier League. I
Yeah.
massively dislike his, not personality, but some of his personality traits, right?
Yeah.
His stubbornness, the favoritism, the small squad contradiction in terms of he likes playing with a small squad, but then he says he has no squad depth. When he does have squad depth, he just doesn't use them or keeps them match fit, right? I would be fine, absolutely fine with Slot going, because FSG, Michael Edwards and Richie Hughes, for all the lambasting and trolling they're getting as well,
Yeah.
they always plan for the long term. So if he goes, they have someone in mind who can be the long-term manager, either now as an interim or in the future, to lead us to the next stage where we can consistently win things and dominate again, right? So I don't think they're reactionary. They're not going to sign Flavor, not going to sign Glasner from Crystal Palace, because he's a hothead as well, right? If Slot goes, they will get someone right, and I'll be all for it. But if he doesn't go, it's because they think the Slot is the man for right now to give us the success, and is building towards that success, which is also okay. I don't hate the man. I just hate some of the way he treats the players and some of the tactical choices, which is a bit boring.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I kind of feel like in this situation, in this specific Salah situation, I don't think he's done too much wrong. But I do think, even up until a couple of days ago, I'm hearing him say things in press conferences, and or I'm just like, what? Like, why did you say that? Or like, like, we don't have the profile of a Jacob Murphy, and that's why Isak's not getting the support. Like, what? Like, we're even bringing his name up. I'm sure it was taken a bit out of context. Don't even bring his name up, Jacob Murphy. Like, come on. And and then with the whole, I mean, like, I'm genuinely still shocked at the Chiesa thing. I don't like, that's if anything his biggest indictment against him now, to the point where now, if he does start Chiesa, he almost in his head will want to be thinking, I actually hope you don't play well, because you'll show me up if I start you now, and you light it up. Like, the rarest of rare, where, like, a manager, like, makes a change, and normally people are like, masterstroke, whereas now everyone would be like, we effing told you that he's that good. Like, and we all know it. He got player of the month with like 100 minutes last month. Like, what more? He saved your goddamn job last week.
And it's his own signing. It's his own signing as well. That's the most funny
thing. Signing. So I don't get that. So there's a lot of things, I think, with Slot that like, that's the thing. Like, when Klopp left, obviously there was years of it, but I think even if Klopp had been there for a year, and then there was the questions like we have with Slot now, I'd be like, I don't want him to go. Like, I love him. Whereas, I don't have that with Slot, because it's like, great, we've won the league, like, brilliant, so thanks for that. But personality wise, I was like, last season it was quite just cool, and it was like, okay, look, he's not the enigmatic Klopp, but he has his own style, and everything seems to be going well, so great. But it's now that things aren't going so well that you start to see these, where you're just like, like, really, like, that's you're still not playing them. You're saying that. So there's a few things, but I wonder, like, do they have a backup plan if he was to go? Like, do you think they actually do at this stage?
Like, that's the thing the media underestimate. Like, when you're in that position, executive position, right, the manager of football, director of football, head of global football, as Michael Edwards is, you always are prepared. Like, literally, they would have dossiers and research and backup plans of a what if, your contingency, right? And they would have had it, even when Slot signed, they would have already had 5 to 10 to the world's scouted of global replacements for Slot if it didn't work out. So, like, I think they just, like, people haven't been in that executive position, that high, when you're running an establishment like Liverpool, and it is an establishment and they're still business, you will have plan after plan and research and everything. So without a moment, if Slot's gone,
it's like that. It's like that moment where again, to bring it back to wrestling, when Seth Rollins turned on Roman Reigns in the Shield,
Yeah,
and Triple H is there, he's like, "There's always a plan B,"
exactly.
and then someone from behind with a steel chair, someone's like this behind Arne Slot, just ready
Exactly.
to unload.
Stalking him behind the wall,
Yeah.
just in case, sledgehammer and a chair.
Yeah, whereas Slot's too busy going to the fans like this, like, I'm too smart, and then turns around like, whack.
There's so many funny things like that. There's so many funny narratives, right? Because Slot said himself, right? He doesn't look at social media. So in his mind, he's like, that press conference, I pulled a blinder there. I'm not playing Kyo. So how are you going to deal with that? I'm not going to read. I don't care what you say. I don't read it anyway.
It's like, I've done it again.
Yes. One in the bag, yes.
But one thing that I keep hearing, and I'll admit, a little part of me gets like, oh, excited, and then I'm like, oh no, of course, that's a terrible idea. When you see, rumor has it, Steven Gerrard has been lined up as an interim, and do you know what? Like, I know on paper that that's a terrible idea, right? In terms of like Gerrard, I wish Gerrard was a better manager, but then I see clips of him losing it as Rangers manager into the camera, like, yes! And I'm like, oh, I'd love a bit of that though as well. You know what I mean? But I know that's bad, and I have to be like, no, Andy, no, that's a terrible idea. But you know, what do you think?
It's interesting, right? It's interesting because as a manager, okay, he's not good enough tactically. He hasn't got a reputation, right? But sometimes you need certain things. You need the passion. You need the understanding of Liverpool. This is why Kenny Dalglish came back, right? I would still take Kenny Dalglish over Gerrard even today, right? But sometimes you need a spark. You need motivation. And even if he doesn't do well, you've successfully met the criteria of what you need in an interim until someone like Nagelsmann becomes free after the World Cup to come in. Because if he ignites the season, if he brings the fire and the passion, right, he's a legend. Nobody in the change room can say anything bad to Steven Gerrard. Nobody can cross the boss. And it does another thing as well. If he's really inept and not good enough, then in this short run where he hasn't performed, he has proven that he cannot be a Liverpool manager long term in the future when people are clamoring for him. So that makes another monkey off the back of FSG or anything like that. But additionally, he may see this as an opportunity for himself, and he may step up. He may go through all the coaching repertoire. He may read my future book about tactics as well, or whatever. He may do something. He may do something to step up and put himself in consideration. Even
Interesting.
If he performs well, I think FSG won't pick him long term. But he might be a really, really.
This might be, like that's a good point. It might be a good free hit for we're already. Expectations are at an all-time low during the season. There's no one of real quality available who'd be willing to wait to just take a job until the summer. They're like, well, no, am I the manager or am I not? Whereas he has been floating around Liverpool. He would be more than happy to take the team to the end of the season, and maybe with the senior players that are there and the quality that are there. I know I'm totally talking myself into it now, but like with the players that are there. Would he need to be as, like he understands obviously some level of tactics, but he's not an elite level manager or anything like that. But it could just be that sort of like that effing come on sort of passion that they need. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That maybe because that's what the team seems to be lacking at the minute is that sort of like it's just also flat and like because Slot is not the most well. He is actually quite animated on the sidelines, but in general, he's a quite fairly cold, arguably. Where he's just
too cool for school
guy. Yeah, Whereas with Gerrard, I think he not only would he obviously want the job, but it would also stop that clamoring for him if he didn't do good. And so it's an interesting one. I like my heart. I would have to let my heart take over if it was announced that Gerrard was manager. And I'd have to let my heart do all the feeling rather than my head doing all the thinking, and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to be like a dog with his head out the window of a car and just enjoying the ride and not concerning myself with how this is all working and just being like, great.
Exactly. I enjoyed it. Right? There's one name that I think could come in and do the interim job without a care for the long-term job, and he was linked to Liverpool many a time. Oh, it's not Frank Lampard, by the way. I always said that Lampard was better than Gerrard as a manager. He's doing great things with Coventry, going to get promoted. But the one name, right? He's just come out of a hot seat as well. He brought Celtic back into touching distance of Heart He left to allow Wilfred to come in, and Wilfred's lost over the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martin O'Neill coming in for an interim period. He would command discipline. He's a hothead. You don't cross with him either. He's got a temper. He can strategically set a team out. He could bring you to the end of the season. Or he's well respected. I wouldn't mind him coming to the interim.
No, I mean, I don't like. I like this is the problem with social media as well. Is that like I know he's a better manager than Gerrard by far.
Oh, yeah, you don't get a heat,
right?
You don't get a pat, yeah.
But I don't get the same like. Yeah, come on, like he doesn't give.
Get the cold.
Yeah, I'm like Martin O'Neill's great, and I love Martin O'Neill, and he managed Ireland, and all this, so he's a very good manager. But I feel like there's no chance of it getting to like, of Liverpool being better than we've ever been with Martin. Like, do you know what I mean? I know we're just talking interim. I can't see us hitting the heights that like even though like it's so much more likely that with a Gerrard, say, we would not play as well as we would with Martin O'Neill because he's not as experienced, he's not as good a manager. But there's also, I think, if you could strike fire with Gerrard, momentum could take you to 15 straight wins or something. You know what I mean?
Ride the wave. Yeah, right.
Pure vibes. Yeah, and whereas like with Martin O'Neill, I think it'd be just a bit more pragmatic. But like it's on paper, it's obviously the much better option. But,
hot on the head.
I know. They're battling with each other. So I don't know. But the thing is that if Slot was to go, like if Slot and Salah were to both go in January, I would be like, okay, who's next? I don't think I'd be like, oh, what? And thinking like, oh, my boys are gone. I'd be kind of like,
my lads. Oh, Danny Klopp.
Look how they've massacred my boys. I don't think I'd be. I wouldn't be that arsed, to be honest. No, I wouldn't be. So I kind of think. Let me ask you though as well, as a slight change, but with Van Dijk's form, because I was kind of thinking that against Leeds, and this is where I need your tactical mind, where I was like, was this really all down to the centre backs? Was it down to our back four? Was it down to what caused this defensive shambles? Do you think against Leeds, where we obviously Konate's like tackle was just it's frustrating as they come, but like I think Van Dijk has not up to his standards. I think he's been playing quite poor the last couple of weeks, and I don't know. I'm curious to get your take on what's happening there with the centre back situation.
I feel it's the midfield letting them down, because McAllister plays on the left side to allow Gravenberch that right sided to stroll forward to break the press with a run right. Now you set a midfield up primarily. It has to be multifunctional. You have to protect the back four, protect the space in and around the back four, fight for the second ball when they hit a long ball, and you're tussling for the second phase ball. But Slot wants his midfield to do too much. His midfield have to be available to receive the ball through the centre, because he's adamant the ball plays through the centre, not through the fullback and down to the winger.
Right.
We don't have wingers anyway, so maybe that's why. But, you know what I mean? If you can set a midfield up to protect Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, then with the world-class players, and they are world-class on their day, you can protect Van Dijk and Konate. But they're expecting Van Dijk and Konate to be colossus, to win every duel, to step into the void, to be front-foot defenders without the covers behind them. And I'm sorry, but Bradley, Robertson, Kirkes, Frimpong, whatever, right, in the fullback positions as well, they need to be protected as well. It doesn't matter how good you are 1v1 on defending. The midfield has a role to sit there. And sometimes you give up your possession, your famous Dutch philosophy of holding the ball, come what may, no matter what. Give the ball up to be solid and protection and not progressive. Because surprisingly, we've played better and we've won more games when we've had less possession against Man City. Sure, they dominated and over cleaned up. But before that, it was Real Madrid, where we battered them off the park against Aston Villa. Emery had possession and we battered them as well. And Slot even had the nerve to say, oh, I didn't like the game because we had less possession and less control. I was like, oh, great, do that again. But in other games, forced the midfield, he's forced the midfield to hold possession, push up, create opportunities. And then Van Dijk and Konate are stranded without that layer, that protective layer. I think it's the midfield combined with their bad form. You can't take, the blame away from them as well. But if they were protected better, because if you can protect Nat Phillips and Reece Williams with Henderson Fabinho, instead of dropping Henderson Fabinho into the centre-back positions, the midfield needs to function better. Yeah.
And then how do you think that, like, would you bring on Endo as a... I would
Yeah,
too.
I would, because I think McAllister, whether the daddy's injured, like I felt this as well, right? This might be, you tell me if you have a similar experience. I used to love like surgery and operations and height and thrill seeking and adventure. And even now,
Hmm.
I like to watch, I like to see it, but the body reacts when the needle goes in or when you get
Oh
the
yeah, I
cut
can't.
or you're going to surgery or when your height's right. I still like it. I get a thrill, but the body gets kind of jitters and shaky after like 8 hours. But I don't know whether it's self preservation. I want to see his future. I want to keep myself safe or mental, but
Yeah.
my body can't take it, even though I like it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, no, I'm like that myself. Whereas now, like, I mean, I've just become. I never understood when I was a kid, why don't adults like roller coasters? Like, they're super fun. What's wrong with you? They're so fun. Why don't you want to get in the sea every time you're at the beach? Like, why do you want to just sit there? Like, that's boring. Whereas now I have become more like that. So yeah, like that is
I think it's a real
definitely the
thing.
case for me. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know.
And
But yeah.
back to your question as well. That end, right? So the reason you bring in Endo, it's not because he's better than McAllister, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, or anyone else, right? Because it's his role, it's his duty, it's his
He's a
pride
dog.
to stop the ball, getting near Van Dijk, getting near Konate, he'll clear everything, he'll clatter people. You think you're running past him? No way in hell. He'll take you out and absolutely, man or the ball, one or the other, with the gum shield. And
Yeah.
that's the factor we're losing, right? I said it time and time again, and for every other channel who wants to say that Endo's not good enough, Endo's performed bad in the cup, you can't come in off the cold with no match sharpness, no muscle memory, and expect
Yeah.
to perform. Like I heard an insane comment. We need a Busquets coming on instead of Wataru Endo. Where the hell are you going to get a Busquets? Busquets doesn't even come on for anybody, right? He's always a
I would
starter
say,
anyway. But you
yeah.
need a crunching tackle, get the fans on their feet. Blood, thunder, and gut. When you crack someone, the fans like, yeah,
Yeah.
behind the team,
That's
yeah. We don't have that. We
literally,
don't get
it
that.
could be just a tackle like that
Yeah.
sparks
Yes.
like the crowd up, and then
And the
it feeds
players.
into the team. But like,
Yes.
it definitely could be. And I don't know where this narrative has come from. Look, granted, like, he's not as skillful as the players that are starting at the minute.
Mm.
But like you said, like, I think we just need like a dog. We need someone who
Yeah.
will, and that may be even disrespectful to Cut because he's more than that. But for someone to just do all of that sort of dirty work. And I don't know where this narrative has come from, that like everyone loved Wataru Endo last year, and now all I hear when I hear about him online is like, he's hardly good enough. And it's like,
Exactly.
since
It's so
since when? Why have we all just
it's
decided that like he's
bizarre.
shite now? And it's like, no, like,
He's
he
only
does
32.
such,
Yeah, he's
and
only
he's a
32 as
genuine
well.
number six. He is just, I love him so much. I would put him right
Mm.
in there. So
I think it's because he's not glamorous and he's small,
mm,
and it could be that he's Asian as well, right? But like back to the Milan teams, you had Gennaro Gattuso, Rino Gattuso, right? We had Kaká, Seedorf, Pirlo, glamorous, world class, technically able. And this is another slight on Gerrard, by the way, right? Without
yeah,
Gattuso, they would not work there. With the Real Madrid with Zidane, Figo, everyone in there, right? With Guti, without Makaleli, without the dog, the fighter in there,
yeah.
it doesn't work. And Gerrard said, right, what does Gattuso do? He doesn't get an assist or a goal. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Gerrard? I forget that another day. Last night. You get Mascherano in there who can't shoot for Toffee and can't pass either. These players
Yeah.
are valuable. They protect. You feel secure. You feel like you can go and play because they're going to be behind you, backing you up. If you
Yes.
lose the ball, they're going to win the ball back for you. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
100%. And it's a little bit too silky in the
mm,
in
I,
midfield. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know where do we go from here. Like, it'd be very interesting to see now what team is picked. Whether Salah will even be in the squad against Inter, will he just be back in the
mm.
starting lineup? Like, what would your prediction be now with the week coming up? Do you think, will he feature at all against Inter and Brighton?
Well, depends how smug Slot is, right? If if this was me, right? If I'm on a Slot and he's crossed me off, I bring Salah to all the games. I'm like, you right, Salah? How's it going, Mo? And like, right, wink. And then he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's pick the team sheet. You right, Mo? And just bring him there, right? And then in front of the team, he's like, guys, I'm gonna pick the team, but I don't know what's Salah, what do you think? Who should we pick for this match? And it just like literally just make it like the most
You'd
awkward,
go right in.
uncomfortable. That's just the way. Like I don't know. It might be a bad thing, but I would do it.
Yeah.
It's not an example, but it's literally like, okay, you said what you said. Say more, please. Keep talking. I want to hear what you've got to say. And then, don't pick him.
Like,
Bring him.
Just going through, just playing total mind games where it's like, and on the right wing, of course, Mo Salah will not feature in this game. Like just totally been like, oh man. So yeah, just messed with him. But I don't know. I would be, I would have thought before Salah said anything that he would have definitely started against Inter. Whereas now it's like this will really be the one, because even when Salah was dropped the second match and then especially the third match, I'm looking at the lineup and I'm like, we won't like that at all. Whereas now, when like if he doesn't play in this one, then it's like, oh, I think it might be over for that relationship, or for Salah at Liverpool. Like, it's really down to if they can fix this in the next 24 hours before the game, great. But if not, I don't see it too much of a distraction, you know what I mean, to the team and to morale and to everything. After Sabo had just said, by the way, what happens in the dressing room stays in the dressing room. Meanwhile, like, split screen, Salah's like, the club has thrown me under the bus. Arne Slot's a big ball arsehole. And I have no relationship. But, like, oh.
There's one narrative under that as well, right? This will truly, truly get under Salah and the fans' skin more than Salah. What do you think about Gakpo? Will Gakpo start all these games?
Oh, that will actually. If he starts again and drops another stinker, oh my God, there's going to be a civil war in the streets of Liverpool. It'll be. Again, like, the only thing I'll say is that now Salah didn't explicitly say, I don't know why Gakpo's starting ahead of me, but I feel like that's what was implied, because you can't say, like, Kanate, sure, he's been shy too, but like, he's a different, he's a defender. If Gakpo starts and still no Salah, and Gakpo just, does the usual thing of cutting inside, taking a shot, it gets blocked or it goes over, I feel like, and if Liverpool don't get a result as well, I think then it's right back on Slot again. This is a little window for Slot where he can kind of breathe, I think, because he's just, a few fans have migrated over to his side because they don't like the way Salah's handled it. So he's got a little bit more backing from the public, I think. Whereas now, if he does the same again and Gakpo is doing the same thing and we lose, I'd be like, Slot. Yeah. What are you doing?
I've got advice for Slot.
Oh, please.
I've got advice for Slot. If Slot was clever, right? If he's really, really clever, you start Engamoha, because you get the fans right on your side, on your side. Like, this is your chance. Go on, make us, champions. Bring the victory. Bring out feel good feelings, right? If he starts Engamoha, the vibes, my goodness, the vibes. But Arne Slot, imagine if he does this, right? In the dressing room, he's like, right, Salah hasn't travelled with us to Inter Milan. We haven't got Mo Salah because of his outburst for obvious reasons. Chiesa, Engamoha. This is what we're going to do, lads. Cody Gakpo starts on the left wing. And Gakpo, we don't need a right winger. You're going to rotate and cover the right wing too. Gakpo! Come on, son.
Yeah, total control of the wings. It's almost like he's like, so it's like, everyone's expecting us to change it up, so here's what we're going to do. They're never going to see it coming. We are going to play Cody Gakpo on the left. They won't know what to do. They'll think no manager could be that stupid to play him again. That's exactly what we're going to do. They'll never see it coming.
And the players in the bench in the dressing room go, look, boss, you put Gakpo's name twice. It's like, I know what I'm doing.
This is just Gakpo's name written 11 times, boss. So yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see. I'm here for it. I'm here for the drama. Yeah. I'm here for see how the fallout's going to be, and yeah, it'll be a very, very interesting week or two now for Liverpool.
Yeah. And speaking of which, right? I know we're meant to be the footies on, and there's other teams apart from our good old Liverpool. So last little 5-minute coup de burst. Man City crept up on Arsenal before you know it. 2 points behind.
That's what like it's mad. I feel like if any team between 1st and 14th could just put a run of 3 wins together. If anyone in the league could put a win of 3, put a run of 3 wins together, they'd be right up there. And yeah, it was like, I always personally enjoy Arsenal losing, but But I kind of thought Arsenal were, a little bit above the usual the malaise that seems to have hit everyone in the league, where they were like, okay, they're just going about their business. So I was quite surprised that Villa did, and Villa's like 9 wins in 10 now. Only lost to Liverpool,
Out of nowhere.
like weirdly. So it's all right back up there now. Like City won comfortably against Sunderland, and then with Arsenal losing, so it's 2 points, 3 points or something is the gap
2 points
between.
behind.
And I'm like, just if Liverpool can't be involved, it's just nice to have a title race. And I'd love one where it's like back and forth, where it's chopping and changing every week. Now City are ahead. Oh, now, and even if Villa, I'd love for Villa just for even a week to be top, just for the sheer vibes of everything. But
that would be nice.
But yeah, so there were some big results at the weekend, but I would you just don't know what way this season's going to go. I feel like there's more madness to come in this season, but yeah, it's the title race. I mean, they were hardly running away with it, but it's right back open now. They're all in the mix now.
If Liverpool can win, who would you take to win? Who would you prefer to win if Liverpool are not in it, which we obviously aren't?
I mean, if it's between City, Arsenal, and Villa, I'd love. I mean, Villa. I'm only throwing them in because they're there right now. Villa is who I would pick. But if it was between Arsenal and City all day. City is just another day.
It's just another.
City won the league. Yeah, City won the league. Dubious charges hanging over them. Like, fine, I can chalk that off to they were up to something. Whereas exactly. I just think Arsenal will be absolutely insufferable if they won the league, and more so just Arteta, if anything. So I would opt for City. How about you?
Anyone except Arsenal. It'd be so funny if Villa did it, because Unai Emery, former Arsenal boss, who they absolutely got rid of, right? He done it over Arteta. That would be hilarious. But then again, if Liverpool don't win, I want City to win eternally, because it's just like meh, whatever. They used to winning. This Guardiola one, talk it up, 115 charges, financial doping, or all that kind of stuff. Don't care. City again. I do not want Arsenal to win. They're insufferable. No. They're entitled. They've won nothing. They play some kind of dodgy set ball, football.
Yes, it's not the most attractive football. And if City won again, you just look at the every year who won the league, and it's like City, Liverpool, City, Liverpool. It's like, if anything, having just more City, if anything, I feel as a Liverpool fan, makes our ones look even more like, look, this dominant era of City, but we got in a few times, and so I don't want, like, it would just be, especially if it's another team's first title in however many years, that would, I don't know why it bugs me, but like, I just feel that if it's a City thing, it's like, barely.
You don't want them to have their moment. You don't want them to have their moment, or to climb up into that upper echelon. You just want to keep everyone down there. If it's just us as a City, it's okay, it's doable. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll see how it goes, but I think there'll be a few twists between now and then anyway. It'd be great.
Absolutely. And what a nice way to end on a positive note with a fantastic title challenge. Will it be City? Will it be Arsenal? Will it be Villa? Will it be Slot, or will it be Salah?
A lot is going to happen in the next week or two, so I can't wait to talk about it.
Exactly. So guys, make sure you smash a like. The footy is always on with my bro Andy Cantwell and your boy Liverpool fan in Japan, Sai. Any last words?
Thanks for getting us to over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, by the way. Thanks for everyone who subscribed, and that's it's very nice. We hit 1,000 quite quick, so we're very happy with that, and we're happy with how the show's going. And you can check us out on your podcast platform of choice: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the rest. So yeah, thanks very much for watching and listening.
Well said. Until next time, peace.